Hey, how's everyone going? Hanzo here, and today I've got a very exciting ranked gameplay for you guys. This is a 5-stack ranked gameplay in Mythical Immortal ranked, and you're gonna see some crazy stuff right here. We got some really stacked lineup from some of the best players in Singapore and also in the region against our opponents. You can see our cracks is here, and this is Singapore number 48 Chou, and we got a East rank, I believe, Fredrinn as well. So let's get right into it. Composition wise, we have a very beefy lineup for Fredrinn in our jungle tank fighter. I'm playing Minsitthar. In the experience lane, we've got Chou as the roam, super strong initiation as well as peel. We've got Clint as a marksman, very good in the gold lane, strong from mid to late as well. And Cecilion is also very strong mid to late. Now of course, in terms of laning, it's gonna be terrible on my side. Minsitthar, even though he's very good at teamfights, in fact that's why you should only pick him for teamfights if you're playing a 5-stack or maybe a trio, because otherwise you just get steamrolled in the laning phase for sure. So as I said, Phoveus, very strong in the lane, XP lane, great damage as well as decent crowd control and survivability as well. Joy is very hard to catch, unfortunately with our comp, hopefully that makes it a little bit easier in the jungle. Yes, Badang is the roamer, which is a little bit inferior to our Chou, I would say. And then they have Xavier, which is stronger in the mid lane. Moskov steamrolls very far ahead, especially if it's unchecked. Let's pan over to Chou here a little bit. He's got Joy dashing right in, but with the Fredrinn, nothing much you can do here. Badang is all the way in, so Clint gets the first blood, which is great. A lot of clashing in the gold lane because they all know how important that is to the outcome of the match, pretty much. Because you wouldn't rely on a Phoveus to do much and late game except for dish out crowd control. So in terms of carry potential, it's always the Moskov or the Clint pretty much, and for our case, Cecilion as well, and for them, Xavier. So Cecilion has come around. The reason for that is because Turtle's coming up on level 4. You can see I just can't trade against this guy, right? I have to step out already. Take quite some damage here. Our team looks to be looking for an opportunity. The Badang is taken pretty low. I got knocked in, I got used my ultimate. But it seems we're not quite ready because getting a Phoveus doesn't do much, unfortunately. So we just have a little zoning too. The team's gonna dash right in. I petrify in, but Joy dashes right in as well. Let's see if we can do something here. I pull the down, but once our jungler is out, nothing much we can do here, and they decide to step out. I try to help out this Julian, but I realized that it's not great. He just pulled both of them in, and I just get immediately destroyed. So not great start for us. I think looking back at that team fight, our miscalculation really is with Chou not quite being at level 4 of the ultimate, so we couldn't quite go all in. I did land an ultimate, but at the same time I also admit that was not probably the best one. Of course there's more for zoning, because I only managed to lock in the Phoveus and we didn't quite have enough damage to burn through that. So that's fine. Now we know how it's done. And I'm just going to, take safe farm wherever I can. Build wise, I'm going for Thunderbelt first, and then afterwards I'm going for Fleeting Time. And the reason for that is because Minsittar's ultimate is pretty much the only reason you pick him. I'm trying to stay in front here because I want to take the experience. And then not great. You can see I can't trade against Phoveus at all. In fact, I would say actually Minsittar's skill 1, which is the hook essentially, on paper it looks similar to Franco, but Franco's one has a stun embedded on it. Minsittar's doesn't, and there's a little bit of a delay as well. The kick comes in, unfortunately not quite able to get it. It's very difficult to pilot this. I used to play Chou extremely obsessively, and still you can't always land. Good fight from our team. Knock him out to the Badang earlier, and the Moskov is down as well, but unfortunately clean up by Xavier onto our marksman. Nothing much here going on. Seems like, yeah, trying to step out of it as much as I can because the turtle is coming up. So this is really one of the highlights of somewhat high level game. You see, I basically can't really do much here. I do land my ultimate. Fredrinn comes in, a kick comes in as well. We don't get the final hit onto the Badang, and that's not great. Yeah, we end up with a lot. Even though Chou does get a shutdown to the Phoveus, because the Phoveus still really deep. That's not great for us. So it's very difficult, especially in the early game, since our mid is slightly weaker. We don't have as much priority. But this can even out soon enough, and especially if you lock onto the right target, you can see how much damage that Clint can deal. So we just need to set up correctly. So that's fine, we are not too demoralized, we're a little bit behind, but we just need to stick to our game plan. It's normal that the enemy team is a little bit stronger early on, and in these small moments we actually are losing out a little bit, but it's fine, we'll pick up very soon. So we're not too worried. Yeah, I just can't fight against this guy. You can see I'm trying to get something here. I do get the gold or the experience crab. It's called the gold crab, but it gives experience. Nothing much I can do here. I want to roam into mid, but our team's not looking for anything at the current moment. Fredrinn's gonna posture to bot. I'm gonna hold this minion right here. And it seems that once I see that the Phoveus has showed up in the mid lane, I can decide to go and fast push this all the way in. Fredrinn goes here, he gets a kill. Lots of stuff happening, Joy coming right out. That's not enough, and Chou is gonna be taken down. Fredrinn just manages to dodge this. So it's a smart fight picks out, we got something. But I can't take this further because the enemy team also played very well. They rotated the Xavier out to defend experience lane.
The king shall reign with righteousness.
Seems like this guy is going crazy, and I'm not sure if I get out of here, to be honest. I did manage to land the ultimate, but that was more of a last ditch attempt. I run Petrify on the Minsitthar. Good idea is actually to run Flicker, I would say. But Petrify is also great because if you want a single target kind of lockdown, or at least a group lockdown in the late game, once the pickoff comes in, it's pretty much over. Anyhow, we're moving towards turtle, at least our jungler is in there. And I'm coming into bot. Just gonna look what's happening here. The turtle is hit. Fredrinn secures it, but it seems like Chou might be in a bit of trouble. Flicker comes through. Fredrinn is in the midst of it, but we're all pulling back. I just managed to arrive. I land in the Julian ultimate, and this is where it changes to get 2 kills onto the Badang as well as Joy. Even though the Phoveus does get a kill onto the Cecilion, we do get a counter kill in. So that was actually pretty well executed. This you can see in terms of not only just gold, but also in terms of momentum. This is where we switch it all up. Then jump in, coming in right in time as the enemy is pushing in because they think that I showed up in the bottom lane, in the gold lane, and then afterwards going in to help. That was quite a big difference, and that actually helped us put ourselves in a small lead. It's not decisive lead, it's small lead. Chou's looking for something. He wants to go forward, trying to go and see, but it seems like he has returned.
Never say die.
And that's fine. Cecilion does get a kill onto the Badang. Our Cecilion is scaling up nicely, having 2 core items already, Cloak of Destiny as well as Gloom 1, which is great. At this point, 50 seconds to lore, we're just gonna stand around, not do anything crazy. Clint's gonna be out there clearing the lanes. See if we can pull the Phoveus, unfortunately not. But otherwise, we're just gonna take it easy. Please, we're not gonna go anything too hard. So a lot of damage comes onto the Xavier. So we're not gonna be able to push much more. Not enough minions here. Moskov continues with his split lane pressure, and I'm going to go and try and defend that, while the rest of the team will try and stay and hold a little bit. So Moskov comes in with a nice stun. This is a bit awkward, I could have just left. You can see how Minsithar's ultimate isn't, or skill 1, the pull isn't that great. I land the skill 1, but he's still able to dash out because there isn't a... Yeah, Moskov pops the inspire, so I think she died here. Yep. So, well, shouldn't have just stayed, to be honest. I think I overestimated myself, most definitely. But that gives us sufficient pressure here. We did manage to get the Lord, and that was great because we kept Moskov out of the fight, and in all intents and purposes, that's actually quite a lot of damage out from the enemy team there. Split into the gold lane, which is great from our end. While I'm down, we do manage to get a lot. Let's see what I can do with this one. Chou's out front looking for a set, as you would think. Cecilion has gone all the way up in order to take some lane clear. And our team's going forward. We're gonna see if we can look for something here. Unable to catch someone. I do manage to get a jump in. And that was a great set by the follow-up by the Chou. We do manage to get 3 members. Getting the Badang, the Xavier as well is a joy. And that's really what you want to be looking for, especially with the Minsitthar. Cecilion did manage to get the tower as well coming into mid after Moskov showed up. So that was a brilliant play, I would say, from our side. We did this very well. And you can see the power of Minsitthar really. It sucks, like, big time in the laning phase. He sucks against everybody in the laning phase, to be honest. Your standard EC laners, all of them will just beat the shit out of him. But once it comes to team fights, I don't think anyone really matches his area of effect, denial, or control that we can see here. So once again we get our tower, Phoveus is charged right into me. I'm trying to look for a position here. So I do manage to get a jump in, and we do kill the Phoveus. So you can see I was holding on to my ultimate for a long time, and the reason for that is because it's only the Phoveus that's charging in. While getting a Phoveus is great, if I can sustain myself, if I can stay alive, I'll always be able to find hopefully a better angle onto the backline, because that's where it's really crucial. So Clint does manage to get a kill onto the Joy as well. So it's going all the way forward, he got a kick as well. He got a kick, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to stay alive here. Cecilion comes in, gets the kill onto the Xavier, which is really great. On my end, as an experienced laner, I try and clear out the lanes as well. So of course, it's the boring part, but this is what you need to do. Moskov has come in around the corner actually, from the rear, hiding. Our team is pushing very far in. Cecilion does get the kill onto the Phoveus. Fredrinn does get it, but the Moskov comes around the corner. And this is a bit scary here. Unfortunately, the Fredrinn ultimate does not connect. Moskov is just outside of that. So pretty decent map pressure, I would say, from the Moskov. You can see the Moskov is playing pretty well. Even though his KDA doesn't look that great, he actually has done quite well in terms of securing objectives and providing cross-map pressure. And that's one of the things that you should be doing as a Moskov, since you have your ultimate that gives you great roaming ability and split map pressure. So trying to cut people off here. My ultimate comes in, unfortunately they're all out of there. Joy uses Retribution to get a speed boost and get out of there. So that was a great attempt, but it's not great. I think at this point we should be leaving. But it seems it might be a bit too late. We are gonna go all in here. I'm gonna kill on the Badang, but that's kinda all I get. This Phoveus is gonna go down as well. Fredrinn goes forward, charging forward, trying to get the Xavier. But we need the damage coming in. And Clint does get a kill, even though Xavier does go down earlier. And Joy also eventually goes down. But Fredrinn actually unfortunately died at the last moment there. So it's a little bit tricky. Quite a good turnaround from the enemy team. They actually managed to catch up and force something where it was possible. Now our team's gonna start out the Lord, even though none of both teams' junglers are actually here. But this is a good time because Clint has a lot of damage, and we have quite some good roam and peel ability here. So Cecilion does get the Lord, no problem, even though Fredrinn is not here. The enemy team is not in a position to contest. We're gonna look for an opportunity to push in. So he's gonna go for it and look for some roaming ability. The enemy team actually decided to go on me, so I had to use my ultimate to try and save myself here. And that's why Minsitthar being tank is very strong. Once your passive hits, and that can be triggered by your auto attack, second skill, first skill, or your ultimate, that gives you a lot of heal based on your percentage HP. So it makes him very tanky and gives me a lot more frontlining ability. And you won't really have to worry about being caught out too much as long as you're within range. Very low. My team seems to want to force the issue more. I don't think I really want to do anything more. So I'm just gonna stay for a bit and I'm just gonna go back and kill something. Damage comes in through. We almost die here. Unfortunately, we are tanky. And we know that Xavier doesn't have ultimate anymore, so we're gonna pull back. Looks like Fredrinn has found, or more like the Badang has found the Fredrinn as well. Then trading some damage here. Let's go for it and do a little bit of chip damage on each. I think Badang actually trades better. Chou's going for it, taking a look. Moskov constantly providing that cross-map pressure. Kudos to that guy.
The tougher the challenge, the sharper my
Trying to
spear.
check if they're still around. 75 seconds to the next lord. You can see that it's difficult for both of us to push in without a lord. That's pretty substantial lane clearing ability from both of our compositions. So we really have to look for these neutral objectives. Chou's looking forward, going in their blue buff area. We did manage to get it. I believe Fredrinn has it. Ghost comes in. Chou looks for an opportunity, but unfortunately not able to find the engage right there. But we have split up the team a little bit. We can see the Moskov is still all the way up in the top side of the map.
No one can stop me.
This gives us a bit of information. Can't quite land my first skill. It's a bit difficult to land, especially since everyone's moving along. And then of course at the Mythical Immortal, people are not just waiting to be hooked as easily. I'm gonna here just to hold off the lane a little bit. Moskov is right here. I'm not gonna step forward too much. I ping my team, telling them that actually the Moskov is probably heading towards us. But this gives us a bit of opportunity, so the Clint does manage to get a bonus down. Unfortunately, he gets stunned by the Badang. Wind of Nature comes through, but I don't think he steps out of there. Not great. Fredrinn gets a kill onto the Xavier. He's trying to run away. He has an Immortality coming right now. I'm gonna step forward. I think it's not a great time to go for it, so I unfortunately have to leave Fredrinn to die there. So that was, I believe, not the best play from us. We decided to go for something. Unfortunately, even though we did manage to trade out the Xavier as well as the Joy, we do manage to lose everyone else in the process. No one else is alive at this point, so I played safe. I don't think I can contest this Lord as well, and I don't want to lose anything for the team, so this is a good opportunity to showcase what you should be doing. I do manage to get a pull on the Phoveus just because he's standing there, but I'm not looking for any form of engage here. Lord comes out, taken down by the enemy team, but we did manage to get all the infidels at that point, so that was a decent push, and this gives us a little bit of leverage or room to play around. As Lord is pushing in, we're not gonna go super crazy because we still have a massive neutral objective coming in from the enemy team that we have to clear. But I see this opportunity to go for the Xavier. It looks like I'm gonna go for it. Jump in, petrify, immediately gets the stun, and you can see the stun lock potential of Minsitthar just for one person. But I mean, it can also be for the entire team as well. But in this case, it's worthy enough just to use my ultimate and petrify on the Xavier, because it takes out one of the major damage sources from the enemy team. So Badang is coming in. I'm gonna try and stack my passive here. Takes a while. I am not able to get it. Oh, I get the stun from the first skill. You can see the stun happens, but I still can't pull the Badang back. So you can see how, as an initiation tool, skill 1 isn't super great. People can walk out of it, even if you don't do anything. So Chou has an amazing set with the conceal gets onto the Badang, but I noticed many people at the back here have pulled the Moskov in, and Wind of Nature gets caught, but there's too much damage coming right here. Clint gets a shutdown onto the Moskov, and that might just be a game right here. We had a very disciplined clear of the waves, and Clint was able to clean up with all the damage. Excellent set by the Chou. He did manage to kick the Badang. Of course, maybe you might be thinking that he should have gone for the Moskov. or some other priority character. But to be honest, in the late game you can just get anybody and it should be pretty good as long as you don't kick the massive, you know, tanky guy. I mean, Badang is tanky, but in the late game you can burst almost everybody in one shot. And that's pretty much the game. We're gonna go for the end here. And it's gonna jump in, the ultimate. And that's it. So that was quite a well fought game. I think the enemy team played very well, and so did we. On the last initiation, there was excellent set by the Chou. Of course, people will nitpick and say you could have gone for the Moskov, but honestly, as someone who played Chou quite substantially in the past as well for a long time, it's very difficult to get that right, and that was a great initiation. Just picking off somebody off, you can just focus all your damage in, and it'll be all good. And of course, because I'm playing Minsitthar as an experienced lane, I do get an additional angle to go in, and you can see that after the kick came through from the Chou, I didn't actually just jump onto the Badang, because he was gonna be dead for sure anyway. My goal is to try and cut off the enemy team, and you can see that a few occasions where we did it, especially in that last fight. I jumped in, we had the Moskov that was just outside of it, but he's trying his best to deal damage because his team's already in there. They knew it was the last ditch attempt, and that was the time where your skill 1 actually lands on the Minsitthar, because that's the time where people are focusing on dealing damage, and that's where you actually get the pull. Nevertheless, that was quite a well fought match. Well played to both teams. My opponents, I believe they also did pretty well, and of course my teammates, you can see No.48, Chou, as well as No.25, Cecilion did a really good job. So that was a great demonstration how the games are played out in a 5-stack setting at the Mythical Immortal level. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Chou signing off. I'll see you guys next time.